going on, guys? Welcome to the RA Visuals YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be taking you through step-by-step, sort of the process of building a beast of a gaming PC featuring one of Intel's new 12th gen Alder Lake CPUs and of course an extremely beefy GPU with it. But before we get into that build, I need to shout out today's sponsor, Deepcool. Now, Deepcool has not only sponsored this build, but they have also provided us with a ton of brand new parts and peripherals from their product lineup to showcase for you guys. And now I'll be going through each of the parts during the build process, and I'll have everything linked down below. So if you guys see something that you want for your own setup, all you have to do is click that link and you guys can grab it. So again, thank you Deepcool for making this build happen. Anyway guys, without further ado, let's get building. Now, the first thing I always do when I start a build or I'm going to start a build is to make sure that yes, I have a clean workspace to build on. Second, I get out a Phillips head screwdriver, and I highly suggest you guys go ahead and grab a magnetic tipped one so you don't lose any of those small screws and stuff like that. And then of course, I always have with me my magnetic parts tray. Now, you can also have some things with you like scissors or wire cutters handy for cutting cable ties and doing cable management, but we'll get to stuff like that later. With our tools ready now, we can go ahead and move on to the start of the build outside of the case. And now this is going to go ahead and involve the CPU, motherboard, RAM, M.2 storage, and your CPU cooler, whether it be an air cooler or an all-in-one liquid cooler. Starting off with the CPU for this build, we have the new Intel Core i7-12700K boasting 12 cores and 20 threads, 8 of those cores being performance cores and 4 being efficiency cores on Intel's new Alder Lake platform. This chip is rated to overclock up to 5 GHz on all 8 cores and 8 threads of its performance cores. So gaming performance with this thing should be top notch, and that's great because that is what this build is going to be geared for. We're going to go ahead and install this thing. Now, usually on any kind of CPU motherboard type thing like this, there's always going to be some kind of indicator of which way you put it. So I can already see on the processor itself, there is a little arrow in the bottom left corner right there. If you guys can see that, let me try to flip it like that. There you go. You guys can probably see that. And then on the motherboard itself, it tells you right here on the bottom of the little cover right there that pops out. It needs to go right there. So basically, you match those little triangles up, you install the CPU. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that right now. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this lever up, let it pop out. This goes back like that. You're gonna go ahead and grab this and pull it backwards. That's it. So basically, just like it said right there, see how the little caret tick mark is right there? We're gonna go ahead and install the CPU in that exact orientation so that way we have it properly right. So we're gonna go ahead and grab this. Make sure we find the arrow on the CPU itself. You can see it's right there in the bottom left corner. And then we're gonna go ahead and plop our CPU right there in the socket. So anyway, we got that done. Go ahead and put that retention thing down right there. This thing should pop up. Go ahead and put a little bit of pressure right there, throw it on, and this thing pops up and pulls out, and you're done. That is it right there. This thing pulls off, and you have just installed a new Alder Lake CPU. Moving on to the motherboard, I picked up an MSI Pro Z690A DDR5 version. Yes, we're gonna be taking advantage of DDR5 in this build, and I'll get to that here in just a minute. Now, this board isn't the top of the line board by any means, but since this is going to be pretty much a pure gaming build, like I said, I went with something that was more mid-range, but still has all the features I wanted, like PCIe Gen 5 support and Gen 4 NVMe support, and great cooling potential. So overclocking that we want to do, should be more than doable. As I alluded to before, we will be utilizing 64 gigabytes of Kingston Fury Beast DDR5 memory running at 5200 megahertz. And yes, I know as of now, DDR4 and DDR5, there's not really much of a difference in terms of gaming performance using either one of those platforms. So this could be a spot where you guys could actually save some money on a build like this with going with a DDR4 platform instead, because A, the motherboards are cheaper, and B, DDR4 memory is more readily available and it costs a lot less. But Kingston was cool enough to send this DDR5 memory kit, actually 2 of them, over to me. And they also sent a shirt with it, which is pretty awesome. So I decided to wear it for the video too. So yeah, I figured why not go ahead and utilize that memory and see what it does in this build. Speaking of our good old friends at Kingston, they also sent me over another 2 terabyte Kingston Fury Renegade SSD utilizing that PCIe 4.0. So all of our games and programs we put on it will be lightning quick. Now, I didn't originally know they were going to send this SSD out to me, so I had already picked up an Inland Performance 1 terabyte Gen 4 NVMe SSD, and this looked like it had very decent read and write speeds and came in at a very, very decent price for its capacity. So if you guys can't get your hands on any of the Kingston stuff, definitely grab one of those SSDs because it looks like it's a very good deal for what it does. With all that talk of potential overclocking, we need something to keep our CPU cool, right? Well, Deepcool came through and sent us their Castle 240EX ARGB liquid CPU cooler in the white colorway. This AIO comes with two Deepcool CF120 ARGB PWM fans and a 240mm radiator that is equipped with their new anti-leak technology that helps regulate system pressure balance to significantly improve operational safety and minimize leakage. This cooler also features their infinity mirror pump design, which is also adjustable so that you can orient the pump however you need, which is a very nice touch. Okay guys, so now that we have everything built outside the case and ready to go, let's get to the next component of the build that Deepcool sent over to us, the case. All right guys, so now we have our awesome case here from Deepcool. So the first thing we gotta do is go ahead and take the side panels off. So let's go ahead and get this front one off right here. So their design on this is actually pretty cool. It's the tempered glass panel is just connected to the door, which is kind of cool. A lot of times they come off and stuff like that. It's kind of a more simple design, and I like that. That's kind of nice. There you go. And then the back panel is just, I think, pretty standard. This comes right off, but they do have the nice little retaining screws, which I really appreciate. I like that kind of thing. I hate having to chase my screws around. Now this case does not only just look good, but it has some really good features as well, including a tempered glass side panel, magnetic dust covers, 4 pre-installed fans, 3 of them ARGB 120mm at the front, and 1 all-black 140mm fan in the back. And now Deepcool said they went with this configuration to maximize cooling while also keeping the noise down. The CK560 also has ample space inside it for some of the longest GPUs, and even comes with an included sag bracket, which is actually really cool to see. Powering this build, we'll be using the Deepcool PQ1000M, a 1000 watt 80 plus gold rated fully modular power supply. So this should provide us plenty of juice to power our i7-12700K and our 3080 Ti. Oh, that's right, I haven't even mentioned that part yet. Like I was saying, the GPU we'll be using in this build will be my Gigabyte Gaming RTX 3080 Ti. I'm going to be ripping that thing out of the build I just finished on the channel a little bit ago, and I'll be using it in this one. If you guys haven't seen that build, it's going to be linked up here so you guys can check that out. Get it slotted where it should go right here, and looks like it goes right in. Bada bing, bada boom, no issues there. You can see, look, it does have a bit of sag to it, but if we go ahead and take our little sag bracket and throw it underneath it, it actually holds it up. Alright you guys, so now we have a perfectly working build here. It looks like everything's good. So we're gonna go ahead and take it over to my desk setup over there, and we're gonna plug it into my main monitor and get it going, because now I have 2 PCs, so this is gonna be my main gaming build. Like I said, all business, all gaming, all the time. So Deepcool also sent us a bunch of peripherals too. They sent us a mouse mat, a keyboard, and a mouse. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at those really quick, and then I think we'll get into benchmarking and gaming with this thing. So let's go ahead and take a look at those peripherals first. Starting with the mouse pad. So this thing is a 900 by 400 size mouse pad by 3mm thick, which is the standard size, I think, for these large mouse pads like this. So they did well on that. It's made of this Cordura fabric. So I would say this is a mix between a soft fabric and one of those really hard mouse pads that you see from certain companies, as it's not super soft like a lot of my mouse pads, but it's got this different, like, I don't know, it's got a different rigid texture to it, but it slides very well. Like, it's a fast mouse pad, you guys. So I actually really enjoy it. This might actually stick on my desk for a little while because I really enjoy this. With the mouse pad, they also sent us their KG722 65% keyboard. And of course, as you can see, it's an RGB keyboard. Has all sorts of RGB functions with the function key and different key combinations. You know, you can turn them up, turn them down, all the different standard stuff. It's got really, I actually like the keycaps. They're kind of soft and smooth on the top. But the legend is definitely a little bit interesting. They didn't put it on the very top. It shines through, but it's actually on the front of the keys, as you guys can see. And I thought it would be a hindrance, but I actually ended up liking it. I can see it just fine. Oh, and unfortunately, it's not hot swappable. That would be the one thing that I would tell Deepcool they need to do with this keyboard is make it hot swappable. It is soldered, so if you wanted to lube it, you'd have to go ahead and spray lube it. And of course, they got their Deepcool branded teal blue keycap, which I like because I like teal blue. And, you know, as far as the keyboard itself, it sounds pretty good stock. Pause the music. Of course, if I was to tune it and do a few mods on it, it'd probably sound better. So let me know if you guys want me to do that. But as far as switches, it comes with Gatoron Reds. Pretty standard stuff right there again. And yeah, just a pretty standard 65% keyboard, but I actually really like it. And last, they sent us their MG510 gaming mouse. And now I actually really like this thing. The weight feels really good. It's very comparable to say like my Glorious Model O that I use a lot. And I like the look of it. The RGB on the back looks very cool. On the bottom, of course, it's that Deepcool teal blue, which I personally enjoy. It's got rubber on the sides right here, and then a smoother top finish. It comes with a PAL 3370 optical sensor, which I find to be very, very nice and responsive. It actually goes up to 19,000 DPI if that's something you want to do. Personally, I stick around somewhere like 3,200, but you know, whatever you're into. It's got, you know, a really nice mouse scroll wheel. It's got a RGB changing button right here, and then your report button, your DPI button on the bottom, and then of course got two side buttons right here too. So pretty standard stuff, but I actually really like it, and I think it feels very, very good. One last thank you to Deepcool for sending me all this fun stuff to play with. I really appreciate it, guys. And now for you out there, go ahead and enjoy the benchmarks of the new gaming PC that I will be now using as my full-time, strictly gaming PC. Hope you find these benchmarks insightful. And if it does help you out at all, make sure you guys give the video a like. And if you enjoy content like this that I just made and you appreciate the hard work I put into this video, make sure you guys go ahead and get subscribed to the channel, turn those notifications on so you get notified on my future videos. But anyway, enjoy the benchmarks. I'll catch you guys later.